Good morning. Gosh, that looks bright. Okay, so 8 o'clock Monday morning, and here I am, all alone. Come on, yay! We have Kay in the room. Good morning. Connection to audio. Don't you love that with Zoom? Just a little bit on the slow side. Okay, while Kay's connecting, and she may not want to speak, but she does look like she's connecting to audio, and other people may join. So rather than there will be bing bongs, which suggests maybe I should have set this up as a webinar rather than a meeting. But hey ho, for those of you who are watching this on the replay, late good morning, pretend it's morning at 8 o'clock. For those of you watching live, at the moment just the one, but others will join. Welcome. Welcome to a Selfish Cow Challenge. So, Kay, are you with me and have you got the sound on?
Yes, I have, I think.
Well, you are welcome. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad you're joining me at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning.
Don't worry, I was having a panic as to how to find the meeting, find the link, use the link, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed I'm here.
I'm impressed. Seriously, if anyone's going to screw up technology, it's me. So we're both here. Miracles are happening already. So what I'll do, clearly this is going to be recorded so that other people watch it, and I'm going to keep it each day as short as possible, because the last thing any of us need is loads of time commitment for this or anything for that matter. So feel free. So this afternoon, just so I'll set the scene of how the week will work. The week will work in that each morning at 8 o'clock, I will be here, and one or others may join, and I'll just set the scene for the day. So, you know, what are we going to be doing today? What are we going to be thinking about? Morning. And then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll reconnect, and that will be just a kind of sharing of how's it going, how's it working, just an informal gathering. So that's what we're going to do. So today, the first day, when we think about a selfish cow, there's this phrase, thinking of others. We're just thinking of others. We're thinking of others. Therefore, being selfish is not thinking of others. But I want to put a twist on this. And first of all, what I want to do when I talk about selfish, for me, what I want to help enable you to do this week is take a step forwards and redefine what that really means. So for me, it's about becoming more you, becoming more yourself, feeling more confident about expressing who you are, what you want, why you want it, in a way that feels authentic. And I hate that word because it's become such a cliche, but hey ho, we know what that means. It means showing up and feeling okay with who we are and expressing what we need. Because when we don't, what happens is we know all the things about being last on our list. We know about people pleasing. But what also happens is we kick off a cycle of guilt and resentment. So guilt for the things we haven't done that we think we should have done or we should have done differently, and resentment for the things we did do that maybe we didn't get the credit for or anything that we expected from it. And that is a really, really unpleasant cycle to be in. So before I dive a bit more into what I mean by thinking of others in a different way, I want you, as you start this week, to think about, we've got 5 days, it's not very long. But on a scale, you know, we're familiar with scales, many of us, a scale of 0 to 10, you know, how are you feeling? I want you to just think about how big a role you play in your life when it comes to being at the forefront of your life in how you want it to be and expressing yourself fully, and not ever having that feeling of silent creeping resentment where you're mentally murdering people in your head. 10 is, you know, off the scale, I'm deliriously happy and confident and feel fulfilled and uplifted, and 0 is, let's not even go there. Just think at the beginning of the week, where is that number, and make a note of it somewhere. That's all you need to do. So that at the end of the week, my hope is that if you show up every day, either live or listen to the recording, and think about or do whatever it is I'm asking you to do, that by the end of the week, we want to change that number so that it's a little closer to 10, even if it's just 1 notch. It's you making progress. I was going to say forwards, but that's what progress is. It's moving forwards. So, thinking of others. Here's where thinking of others is a problem, because our heads are actually filled with what we think other people are thinking, what we think other people want, what we think other people are doing. And we become so consumed with thinking of others that we crowd out the space in our heads for us. There's nothing in there for us, because we're thinking about, I mean, let's take some examples, some very impersonal examples. Here's a classic. We get on the train and there's not a lot of seats, but there are a few, and someone has a bag on an empty seat. Just a simple thing like that, when it comes to being more of a selfish cow, we're thinking that person that has their bag on the seat is selfish cow, male or female, or whatever gender. And we can start seething inside. And we get fixated on the selfishness of another person to the extent that we lose ourselves in that moment. We've lost ourselves because we're so intent on being cross or angry or resentful of the person who has their bag on the seat, never mind whether we have the confidence and the wherewithal to actually say, excuse me, could you move your bag? Which is where you step into your own selfishness. So I want to slightly redefine selfish, because I think we do tend to think of it as synonymous with thoughtless or careless or uncaring. And what happens is we see it in other people and it makes us cross, because we think, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't behave like that. And every time we think that, again, our thoughts are focused on somebody else, not us. They're not focused on us. They're focused on somebody else. And you can see how this leaks into comparison. So I wouldn't be like that is just another version of comparison of, well, who would I be like? And our thoughts, when we're not fully expressing our selfish cow, are always focused on comparison, on how people think of us. And because we're thinking about what they're thinking of us, again, our thoughts thinking of others are filled with others, what other people think, what other people might think, what other people might do. So when we do this, if we're in a workplace, for example, and I haven't worked for somebody else for a while, but I have worked for other people, you know, when there's those people that don't wash up their stuff in the kitchen, the communal kitchen, like how annoying can that become? And we think people are being selfish. And so again, we fill our heads with how selfish they're being. Or another example, either in work or at home or in our own businesses, perhaps when we collaborate with others, how often do we take on a project or a task where we really wish we'd said no, but we don't say no because we've written a story in our heads of what happens if we say no. If we say no and we let that other person, either we think someone will think badly of me, oh no, if I say no, they'll think badly of me. Or we think, if I say no, it might not get done, and then I'll feel really stressed about the fact that it's not done. Or if I say no, somebody else will do that, and I have in my head who that person will be that will do that, and I have in my head that they will do a really bad job of that, and that will stress me out. So I say yes. So I've automatically thought of others, not in a caring way, but in a just filling my head with what other people might think, do, say, how they'll behave. Not a single thought about what I really want for me and how I would like to show up. So today's task really is, someone described this as mindfulness the other day, and I guess it is. But today's task is really to have pauses in your day. Pause. I just had a little stammer there. Pauses during your day where you might be feeling a bit uncomfortable. You might have those feelings of resentment towards someone or something, or maybe a little bit of guilt pops in about something that happened at the weekend or last week or last month or whenever, or something that's coming up later in the day. You're thinking about that, or you're just overwhelmed and stressed with stuff that you can't even in a moment think about what that stuff is, but just momentarily from time to time pause long enough to question and just take a little deep dip inside your head and notice, what am I thinking about now? And all you want to notice is a single one of those thoughts. Does any of those thoughts have anything to do with me and how I feel and what I want? Or is it all about what I think other people are thinking or doing or want? Now, I've got two of you on live at the moment. So do you want to just jump in? We are going to do the questions later in the day, but is this making sense? Do you want to open your mics and just tell me whether it's making sense and whether it resonates? Go on, Deb.
Yes, it does make sense.
Good.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like for the rest of the day, does that make sense that you can just go through your day like you normally do, but from time to time be aware of the thoughts rushing through your head and just pause for a moment and go, are any of those about me?
Yeah, I can reflect and think, oh, is that about worry about what someone else is going to say? Or yeah, and just take a moment and just think, yeah, no, this is about me. I've got to do what I want to do.
Yeah. And you don't even have to do anything with it right now. So I want the whole purpose of this challenge, and the way I work, and I'm sure the way anyone in this field will work, is it's really important to just do the tiniest little shifts at a time. So if today all you do is notice it, just notice it, then that is enough. And tomorrow we'll pick it up and we'll move it forwards, because that's increasing awareness. So we move from self ignorance, or whatever we want to call it. What is the opposite of this? Who knows? Self-denial. We move into a place of self-awareness, and when we can get self-awareness, then we've got an opportunity to move towards self-care, and then it's self-fulfillment and all of the lovely stuff that comes afterwards. But we need to do it really slowly, because we don't want to threaten any primitive parts of our brain to panic even more, because especially at certain times of life that we're all aware of, we can panic quite easily about small things, even if we're quietly panicking and we look like we're smiling and we're happy and we have our lipstick on. Doesn't mean we're not quietly panicking. Right. So, Kay, did you want to jump in and say anything?
Just really that I recognise many of the descriptions that you're giving there, and many of them make sense, and I can recognise them in myself. I think the stopping and pausing is a good idea. I'll probably set myself a little alarm on my phone, actually, because I tend to get tumbled up with the day, and I'll get to the end of it and go, oh, damn it, I forgot to do all of those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seems like a good plan.
That's a brilliant idea, And I think I'm glad you mentioned that, because also part of this journey, or any journey, is not just about, okay, here are the steps, Shirley's given us the steps, let's do the steps. It's about getting them to make sense in a way that has meaning for you, and finding a way to implement things on your terms. And so if setting a timer up works for you, that's fantastic. And anyone listening to this recording will now probably go, oh, that's a good idea, I'll do that. So I hope you'll be able to join me at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I recognise that you won't necessarily be able to do that, but I will be here, and that will be just about sharing how the day's gone, what you've noticed, you know, how you're feeling about it, and, you know, just reflecting maybe also a little bit on what you'd like at the end of this week, just 5 days, but how you would like to come out of this challenge on Friday. Okay, we're done. 15 minutes in, just over. I will be probably showing up with wet hair most days, because, yeah, that's how I roll. And thank you both for joining me live, and for those watching the recording, I'm sure you will take it forwards, and, well, thank you for that thumbs up, that's lovely. And make the most of it. All right, I hope I'll catch you this afternoon. Good luck.
Okay. Bye.
Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.